Let's be honest, most men believe they're good at reading women until they meet one who rewrites every rule they've ever known. What if I told you that the smallest question you ask her, a question that seems sweet, harmless, even accidental, can reveal exactly what she feels for you, how she sees you, and whether she secretly wants more from you? Stay with me, because in the next few moments, I'm going to expose the silent power of questions you've probably already asked her, questions that seemed innocent, but underneath them, she was giving you every answer you've been searching for. Not through her words, but through the way she hesitated, how her eyes shifted, and the tension in the silence that followed. You see, women rarely communicate desire, fear, or emotional attachment directly. They communicate it through how they react to pressure they didn't see coming. And questions, your questions, are subtle pressure. When a man asks the right one, her guard slips. The mask she perfected begins to fade. If she likes you, she'll get nervous. If she's unsure, she'll stall. If she sees you as just another guy, she'll answer without a pause. So let me ask you something. How many times have you spoken to her thinking it was just casual, when in reality it was a test, and she was hoping you'd catch what she didn't dare say out loud? There's a reason some men walk away from conversations knowing exactly where they stand, while others are left replaying every moment, wondering if they said too much or not enough. It's not confidence, it's not looks, it's awareness. Most men listen to what she says, but the rare ones, the ones she remembers long after the conversation ends, are listening to what she avoids saying. Watch closely over the course of this video, because if you master these questions, not to manipulate but to understand, you'll never again wonder where you stand with any woman. No more decoding mixed signals, no more overthinking her slow replies or her sudden mood shifts. You'll start noticing her hidden tells, the way her tone changes when you touch a sensitive subject, how she glances away when she tries to hide her real emotions. That's when you begin to see her truth, without her ever needing to confess it. And here's what most men never realize. Women aren't afraid of questions. They're afraid of being understood too deeply, too fast. The moment she feels emotionally seen by you, she either leans into you or pulls away to protect herself. Either way, you just got your answer. This video isn't about tricking her. It's about finally seeing past what she wants you to believe and uncovering what she actually feels. Because deep down, every woman is hoping someone will ask the kind of question that exposes her in the gentlest way and makes her feel safe enough to tell the truth. The first question that exposes her, without her even realizing it, is deceptively simple. What do you really want right now? Let's be honest, most men think they know the answer. They expect her to say nothing or, "I'm fine." But listen carefully. Her hesitation, the flicker in her eyes, the way she shifts her weight, those are the real answers. Women are masters of verbal camouflage. Her words may say one thing, but her body, her tone, her rhythm of speech, that's where the truth hides. If she leans in, if her eyes linger on yours longer than they should, she's opening a door, and every man who misses it, he stays on the wrong side of that door, wondering why she's so confusing. Here's the secret. When you ask her what she wants, you're giving her a mirror. She sees herself reflected through your curiosity, through your willingness to understand her without judgment, and in that reflection, her defenses crumble. If she's drawn to you, you'll notice a subtle change. Her voice softens, laughter comes easier, the little confessions she usually hides start to slip out. That's attraction revealing itself, not through words, but through vulnerability. And if she hesitates, if her gaze drops or she fidgets, that's your cue too. That's the space where desire, doubt, and honesty collide. Every woman reacts, because at some level, she's always assessing if you're someone who truly sees her, or just another man asking empty questions. But here's where most men fail. They chase the words and ignore the silence. Silence is her truth when she can't or won't speak it aloud. When you ask the right question and let her sit in it, just observing her reactions, you're witnessing the layers peel away. The tension that hangs in the air? That's the moment she's deciding if she wants to let you in or keep you at arm's length. It's emotionally heavy, and most men flinch. But if you can endure it, if you can remain present without filling the gaps with your own assumptions, you gain insight that no amount of advice or strategy could teach you. This question also works as a test of emotional depth, because women want men who are brave enough to sit with real answers. Not the polite, surface-level responses, but the ones that reveal longing, frustration, or hidden desires. And here's the thing, when she sees a man unafraid of her truth, she begins to respect him. Respect leads to trust. Trust leads to intimacy. And that, my friend, is the invisible path to influence and attraction she's been waiting for. So next time you ask her this question, do it with calm, unwavering presence. Don't rush for a reaction. Let her navigate her emotions and observe carefully. Because her discomfort, her hesitancy, her small smiles, those are clues. And if you read them correctly, you'll see her entirely, even before she knows what she's feeling. Understanding women isn't about tricks. It's about listening beyond the words, noticing the cracks, and being steady enough to let her reveal herself, gently, unknowingly, completely. The second question that strips her mask isn't tricky. It's almost too simple. Who do you feel most yourself around? At first, it might seem innocent, like casual curiosity, but watch closely. This question is a mirror to her inner world, a test she doesn't even know she's taking. Women guard themselves instinctively. They measure not just who listens, but who sees. And the moment you ask her this, you're showing her that you're willing to notice, willing to understand the spaces where she is most unguarded. That's powerful. That's magnetic. And it's terrifying to her because it touches a part of herself she usually keeps hidden. If she hesitates, shifts her eyes, or glances away, she's assessing you silently. Is this man safe? Can I let him in? Men often miss it. The subtle tightening of her lips, the micro-expression that passes in a fraction of a second. These small signs are louder than anything she could say, and when she answers, watch her words, but more importantly, watch the gaps between them. Does she struggle to name someone else? Does she pause before including you in that mental space? That pause reveals desire, fear, or both. It's a test disguised as conversation, and only the most attentive men will catch it. This question exposes two things at once. First, it shows where her comfort lies, who she trusts, who she confides in, and where she feels free. And second, it reveals her emotional alignment. Women are drawn to men who can occupy that safe space without destroying it. That's why men who are emotionally present and patient become unforgettable. She isn't just giving an answer, she's revealing the depth of her connections and the type of man she secretly seeks. And here's the subtlety most men miss. Even if she names someone else, notice how she speaks about that person. Warmth, admiration, a longing for attention. These are patterns she unconsciously projects onto you. Her answer is rarely literal, it's symbolic. And if you understand the symbolism, you begin to read her entire emotional blueprint. Now, the real test comes after she answers. Most men respond with a nod or a compliment and move on. That's a mistake. The power lies in your response. Silent acknowledgement, thoughtful questions, or a calm presence. You're not pushing her. You're showing her that her emotional world matters to you. This is subtle dominance, not in the sense of control, but in the sense of strength that invites her to relax. Women are wired to notice this. She'll remember how you made her feel, not just what you asked. Here's the truth most men never grasp. Understanding women is never about controlling their responses. It's about seeing beyond the surface, noticing the unspoken, and providing a calm, safe reflection of her inner self. When she feels that safety, she begins to reveal parts of herself even she didn't know she'd show. That's when attraction isn't forced. It flows naturally, like water finding its path. So ask her this question carefully. Watch her body, her tone, her hesitation. Listen not just to what she says, but to what she leaves unsaid, because the moment she sees that you notice her inner self, she begins to lean in, quietly, subtly, irresistibly. The third question that exposes her isn't about her friends, her hobbies, or even what she says she wants. It's deceptively simple. What scares you the most? You might think fear is private, something she wouldn't share with anyone, especially a man she's still sizing up. But that's exactly why this question is so revealing. Fear strips away the pretense. It cracks the polished exterior she presents to the world. And if you ask it with calm curiosity, without judgment or interruption, you'll watch her reveal layers she guards even from herself. Here's what most men miss. Women rarely speak directly about fear. They talk around it. They laugh, change the subject, or minimize it. But the pauses, the sudden shifts in tone, the subtle tension in her voice, those are her truths bleeding through. When she hesitates before answering, she's measuring you. Can this man handle what I really feel? Can he accept me, flaws and all? If she leans in, touches her hair, or meets your eyes while answering, she's unconsciously testing if you can hold her emotionally, if you can sit with her vulnerability without stepping back. And that moment, that suspended, fragile tension, is where attraction deepens, because a woman senses strength not in dominance, but in your ability to remain steady as she exposes herself. When she answers, listen beyond the words. Does she mention fear of being alone? Fear of being judged? Fear of losing control? Each one reveals how she navigates the world, her insecurities, and the kind of man who can truly anchor her. And even if she masks it with humor or a casual tone, the subtle contradictions betray her. This is why patience matters. Most men rush to fill silence, to reassure, to comment, but staying present, quietly absorbing her answer, shows her that her feelings matter more than your ego. That's magnetic. That's irresistible. And here's the hidden power. When you ask her about fear, you're offering an emotional container, a space where she can admit what she's been hiding, maybe even from herself. Women long for this space, though they rarely admit it. If she trusts you enough to speak, even a little, she's signaling interest, desire, and respect simultaneously. But if she shuts down, redirects, or laughs nervously, that's just as revealing. That's her instinctive boundary. Either way, you learn more about her than weeks of casual conversation could ever teach you. This question isn't about creating vulnerability for manipulation. It's about creating understanding. Women are wired to notice emotional presence. The man who can ask difficult questions, hold space for honesty, and remain calm while she navigates her own fears becomes unforgettable. She will remember not just the question, but the way you made her feel seen, safe, and understood. That emotional resonance is far more powerful than any pickup line, gift, or gesture. So, the next time you ask her about her fear, watch her reactions closely. Notice her micro-expressions, her posture, her tone, and the rhythm of her speech. The answer she gives is valuable, but the way she gives it is priceless. That's where her truth lies, and that's where connection begins. The fourth and fifth questions are the ones that separate casual curiosity from true understanding. They are deceptively simple but strike directly at her emotional core. The fourth question is, when do you feel most alive? Think about that for a second. It's not about what she enjoys casually or what she posts online. This question exposes the moments that awaken her soul, the experiences that make her heart race, and the type of life she secretly craves. Watch how she answers. Does she speak with excitement, her eyes lighting up? Does she hesitate as if afraid of showing too much? That hesitation is a window into what she values, but rarely admits. And when she opens up, even slightly, she's revealing not just herself, but the space she's silently inviting you into. The fifth question is, what do you admire most in a man? Now, don't just listen for surface-level traits like honesty or confidence. Listen for the emotion behind her words. Does she describe strength, warmth, humor, intelligence, or patience? Each answer is a direct reflection of her emotional blueprint. And here's where most men trip. They hear the words, but ignore the underlying meaning. When she describes what she admires, she's telling you exactly how she wants to feel in a relationship, whether she realizes it or not. And if your actions or presence align with even a fraction of that, she begins to notice, to lean in, to feel drawn to you without consciously knowing why. Here's the subtle genius of these two questions together. They uncover desire and alignment simultaneously. One reveals her passions, the other her ideals. And if you pay attention, you'll notice patterns. Maybe she lights up when talking about adventure but pauses when describing emotional openness. Maybe she admires emotional strength but struggles to express vulnerability. These contrasts are not contradictions, they're invitations. They tell you where to show patience, where to lead gently, and where to let her reveal herself naturally. Every woman carries a unique rhythm of attraction, and these questions give you the map without forcing it. Most men never see this. They ask shallow questions or comment without listening, and the women they desire drift away, leaving them wondering why. But when you ask these questions with genuine curiosity and presence, you create a subtle psychological effect. She begins to associate you with understanding, safety, and insight. She notices that no one else has asked these things before. That rarity makes you unforgettable. That emotional gravity pulls her in more effectively than anything flashy or overconfident. And here's the truth most men overlook. Women are drawn to men who notice the layers they hide, who respect the spaces they guard, and who respond without judgment. Asking these questions is not manipulation, it's mastery of connection. Because when she feels seen on multiple levels, her passions, her fears, her ideals, she experiences attraction naturally. She begins to engage not just with your presence, but with the version of herself she reveals to you. That's the point where desire ignites, quietly but powerfully. So next time you speak with her, remember these questions. Watch closely how she reacts, where she hesitates, where she glows. The answers are only half the story. The truth lies in the nuances, and if you read them correctly, you'll never wonder again what she really feels. The last three questions are the ones that uncover what she often hides even from herself. They expose her desires, her boundaries, and the kind of man she subconsciously seeks. The sixth question is, what's something you've never told anyone? This isn't about prying for drama, it's about giving her a safe space to show vulnerability. Notice how she reacts. Does she hesitate, laugh nervously, or deflect? That hesitation is a signal, a protective instinct. If she begins to share, even a fragment, it's a rare gift, a window into her unspoken world. And how you respond matters more than what she says. Show calm, understanding presence. Don't judge, don't overreact, just witness her truth. That emotional validation is magnetic. It's the pull that makes her feel seen in ways no one else has. The seventh question is deceptively powerful. If you could change one thing about how people see you, what would it be? This question exposes her insecurities, the masks she wears, and the parts of herself she guards. Her answer reveals her inner conflicts and her ideal self, the version she hopes someone will notice, accept, and admire. If you listen carefully, you'll hear subtle cues about her values and her emotional priorities. And this is where most men fail. They nod, smile, and move on. But the attentive man, the one she'll remember, pauses, reflects, and responds with insight. You don't have to solve her problems. You just need to acknowledge her world. That acknowledgement builds trust, intimacy, and attraction simultaneously. The eighth and final question is, when do you feel closest to someone? This is the emotional climax. Her answer reveals how she experiences connection, the ways she opens her heart, and what makes her feel safe and valued. Watch her tone, her pauses, her gestures. Does she describe shared laughter, quiet moments, deep conversations, or gestures of care? Each answer is a map of her emotional needs and also a guide to how you can align yourself subtly with what she craves. If you've been paying attention through the previous 7 questions, you now have the insight to understand her fully. Not superficially, but deeply. And here's the truth most men will never understand. Women respond more to presence than persuasion. They notice who listens, who observes, who reflects without judgment. By asking these questions thoughtfully and remaining calm, you create a gravitational pull. You don't have to chase. You don't have to perform. You just have to see her truly in a way no one else has. That awareness triggers desire, trust, and connection in the most natural, irreversible way. Now, I want you to test yourself. Think about these 8 questions and the answers she might give. Here's your personal challenge. Imagine the equation of her desire plus your presence equals true connection. What number do you think it would be in your situation? Write it in the comments. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Your presence and insight can change someone's perspective today.